lighting was a lot of load for warehouse lighting. I think this was a little bit inadequate. Was there ever a problem with this when you calculated the services? Not really. The services are normally significantly over than what this requires anyway. So it's really never been an issue. Okay? So let's do one. What's the lighting demand load? Okay, it's not asking for the calculator load. So what's the lighting demand load for an office building, okay? If we go to table 220.12, now it's significantly higher for an office, isn't it? 220.12 requires 3.5 watt or 3.5 VA per square foot. And this is a 100,000 square foot office building. That means our demand is 350,000 VA. Notice I didn't say total demand load. Notice I didn't say calculated load. All right? I didn't say that because the calculated load would actually be this times 125%. All right? What's the general lighting load, or the general lighting demand load, excuse me, for a 100,000 square foot restaurant?
200,000.
I didn't have time to read it fast. Did they give a letter for a note?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for offices or banks.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a minute. So, what he's talking about, he's talking about the, this one here for the office building, right? If you notice in 220.12, there's a little B next to that, okay? And that refers you down to 220.14J and 220.14K. So I'm gonna have you highlight that. Okay? You can highlight it now, but we're gonna come back to that.
Highlight K or the C?
What's that?
Highlight the article K?
No, here's what I want you to do. In table 220.12, notice at the very bottom of that table, there's two asterisks.
Yeah, A and B.
Oh, I'm sorry, A and B. One references 220.14J,
Okay.
and the other one is 220.14K. Highlight those
Those,
two.
okay.
We'll come back to it if you
Si no
didn't
tengo
get it.
demanda.
We're not gonna forget about that. Okay, so the restaurant is 2 volt amps per square foot. Is there a demand for the restaurant? No. Go to 220.42, there's no demand for a restaurant. Always look at, when they ask you to calculate a load, is there a demand for this load? Sometimes there is, sometimes there's not. The tables will tell you whether there is or there is not. Right? And there is not for a restaurant. How about a school? What's the general lighting load for a school? 3 watts a square foot?
Yeah.
Okay, 3 watts a square foot. Is there a demand for a school?
No.
I wouldn't think so. Makes sense if there was. Yep. Okay, what's the general lighting load? The lighting demand load for a 21,000 square foot school. 3 watts a square foot again, correct? Yeah. 3 watts a square foot. So for a store, according to table 220.12, it's 3 watts a square foot. So for a total of 63,000 VA for the lighting load. This is since there's no demand on this, right? What would the calculated lighting load for this store be? Right, it would be 63,000 times 1.25. That would be the calculated lighting load. That would be the load that would be inserting to the service size. To size the service for this store. Okay?
Ah,
No
no,
demand.
25%, porque no tenés que mandar.
Calculated, we're gonna be adding 25%. Notice, we don't know anything about the actual number of fixtures in here, this one, right? This is just based on the square footage. 3 volt amps per square foot. But what if the actual number of fixtures exceeds 63,000? Which one do we use?
The higher one.
We're gonna always use the larger of the two. Okay, if the actual load exceeds the square footage load, then of course we would use the actual load. And we'll do a couple of these examples tonight. Okay, just wanna kind
So
of.
the minimum would be that.
Correct, yep, and so, and here's the way the test will challenge you. They'll give you a store, okay, and they'll tell you it has 100 fixtures. And each one of those fixtures is 1 amp. Okay, so like, okay, we now know there's 100 amps of load for the lighting fixtures. Now we gotta check to make sure, well, which one's larger? Is the 3 volt amps per square foot larger, or is the actual connected load larger? And then whatever one's larger is your answer. That's the load that you would use to calculate the service. It's always the larger of the two. Okay? And we'll do a couple of those examples. All right. Before we get into some calculations for commercial buildings, let's go over a few things in 220.14. 220.14 is a very, very important article, or section I should say. 220.14 tells us the types of loads. For example, motor load, if you look at 220.14C, it tells you to go to Article 430. Makes sense? An appliance load, electric dryer, tells you to go to 220.54, 220.